got 152 yards. Should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
That's dirt.
Yo. Welcome in, golf fans. My name is Joe Idoni, and this is the Preferred Lines podcast and live stream coming to you live on a Tuesday night from Palm Beach. I'm your grateful host. We are absolutely ready and fired up for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week. Over the course of the next hour or so, we'll be recapping the week that was at Torrey. We'll do a little TGL talk with my boy in a few minutes, and then we'll preview Pebble, provide some complimentary context and personal stat model that I'll dish out there, and finally give some picks to win. In a few moments, I'll be joined by another incredible guest this week to break down everything you need to know about the week ahead and the week that was. But before let me get this out of the way. Before I do any ad reads or anything, I have something to say. So I got home. I kind of had a moment last night, guys. Welcome to anybody who's here, by the way. Make sure to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and give this a thumbs up. Maybe share with a friend if you enjoy the show this week. So I get home late last night after waking up at 6:30 a.m. to get my kids ready for school. Lunch is packed. Headed to my day job, little 9 to 5 action. Drove from there straight to TGL. Had the babysitter watch the kids. Mother-in-law for this week, fortunately for me, but I didn't get home until around 10:30 p.m. last night, and had the moment to finally just sit down by myself and reflect, which I like to do from time to time, and got to thinking about the journey that what has been happening and what's been going on. A little less than 4 years ago, me and my boy Chad Eckert decided to start a golf podcast called Preferred Lines. I'm going to bring up right now. That's me and Chad. This is episode 1, guys, of Preferred Lines. As you'll notice, this is my garage. That's Chad's garage. What up, Chad, if you're here? I bought a little webcam, created a little makeshift space in my garage, cleared out some shit, and I felt like it was 100 degrees in there. Anyone in Florida who's tried to podcast in their garage knows what I'm talking about. But listen, we just loved we love talking about golf, and frankly, I don't know. I had the urge. It was right around the time of COVID to just try something. I had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time, a regular blue collar 9 to 5 job. I had 3 dogs, yet every week I took my time spending hours, and probably way too many hours, working on this golf thing while making zero money. In fact, spending a lot of my own money to do so. I had no financial support. I had no investors. I had no mentor. I had no experience whatsoever with hosting a show, with doing any of this stuff. But I had some belief in myself, and I had the support of my wife, who this is really meant, in part to thank, because along the way, she took on the burden of all those hours that I lost, and she never said a word about it while I was in the garage podcasting away from her and the kids. Never questioned, never complained, just went with it and supported me. Fast forward a little less than 4 years later, and yesterday, I had the incredible personal experience at TGL that culminated in me from 4 years ago setting up a webcam in my garage to standing in front of Tiger Woods with a microphone and a media badge and asking him a question at a station in the media center. Pretty unbelievable journey. I could not have ever imagined it or done it without the support of all of you. And it wouldn't have ever been possible without the support of my wife and my family. So thank you all for that. Thank my family for that from the middle stripe of the fairway of my heart. I really mean that. It's truly been an insane ride and kind of a pinch myself moment last night. I was so full of gratitude and joy. And proud of myself. And I'm not afraid to say it. And to anyone who has been a part of this ride, who has ever taken a second out of their life to watch this show, I appreciate you. And I want you to know the only thing left to do is to keep going, which has been the fitting motto, I believe, for my life and this journey of this show. Thank you all so much for being a part of that. It's truly been awesome and an honor to do this, and a really special moment for me last night. And I can't believe we've gotten here in such a short period of time. Okay. Moving on. I didn't want to get emotional there, but I appreciate it genuinely. I'm once again honored to have the support of Rotoballer for this upcoming season. This show comes to you each and every week for the next 40 weeks or so, completely free and accessible to anyone out there with an internet connection, on behalf of the presenting sponsor of Preferred Lines, which is Rotoballer. At Rotoballer, we offer an absolute smorgasbord of golf content, whether you like DFS, whether you like betting, whether you want one and done picks, whether you want stat models, an endless buffet of people between myself and Spencer and Joe and Matt Miller and Ian, and to choose your style and preference. Promo code LINES will get you 10% off any sub. Thank you to Rotoballer once again. Okay, time to bring on the guests. Let's get to this week. Let's get to what we just saw. Bringing on back to the show for his third or fourth appearance, a good friend of mine. He was actually at TGL with me the week prior. Palm Beach resident down here now, and Malbon God himself. Welcome back to the show, Matt Gannon. What's up, dude?
Yeah, I'm happy you threw that one in, because I want everyone to know that I am a Malbon truther. But also, I wanted to just respond to your monologue, because you mentioned you were going to have one. I didn't know where it was going. Super motivating for me, because we're in a very similar boat, very similar world. Just keep the pedal down. Everything you do in the space is appreciated, and you're one of the best at this for a very good reason. So congratulations about last night. I didn't know you got to talk to Tiger. That's unbelievable stuff, and just truly crazy stuff. And it's going to be better going forward, because we know we're going to be out there in the next few weeks. So good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I was shaking. I asked him. It wasn't a good question, but we're not going to talk about that. The guy writing is hard, because I had something planned. It was such a good question, and the guy in front of me like kind of stole it, and he semi-answered it, so I had to pivot last second. But just being there in front of Tiger Woods, it was just a moment. I wish like I had someone behind me to kind of take that picture to really encapsulate the journey of like 4 years ago, podcast, garage, nothing. And then to this point. So it's pretty special, and I was genuinely proud of myself. But for us, look, let's start with Torrey Pines. Heavy news week with an onslaught of withdrawals that came early in the week. But let's get to the real news of the week, which was the epic stylings of one Jason Day, from the sweatpants to the practice round to one of the hardest on-course looks that I have ever seen. As the brand ambassador of Malbon, Matt Gannon, what were your thoughts on the fits for J-Day last week?
Yeah, they've never once been bad. They've always been amazing. And it's week after week, he comes out with some of the new stuff. I think the stuff that he was wearing last week, outside of the one pullover, that's already out. But I think a lot of those sweatpants and the sweat outfits weren't out yet. So as a Malbon guy myself, I am excited for what they have going forward. And J-Day always looks amazing, as well as his caddy. They both look awesome on the course and in the practice round. So keep it up, J-Day. Keep it up, Stephen Malbon. Keep it up, Willie Wilcox. You guys are the absolute best dressed out there week in, week out. So shout out Malbon.
Yeah, dude, your North Star is like a full-on Malbon sponsorship. Is it Malbon or Malbon?
Malbon, I believe so. But I catch myself saying Malbon.
It's coming for you, dude. Just keep grinding. I know they see you.
Yeah.
You. Well, listen, last week, Harry gets it done, right? Unflappable. Harry down the stretch. Yeah. Like, it was close. And I just wanted a little action on Sunday, so I took a live Harry number. But might be one of the best, like, pressure putting strokes and reliable in the game. And his mental fortitude of just not ever committing mental errors, I think, is also pretty awesome. Did you have a Harris English ticket? And if you didn't, why is it that none of us, like, why wasn't everyone on Harris English 100-1?
No, you're so right. He's got great course history, US Open specialist, difficult course guy. I don't know. It just didn't get there. Went elsewhere. On Sunday, I had a Matty Schmidt 300-1 ticket. I was going into that feeling all right. Like, maybe you can backdoor something. Eject City immediately. But like, Harris English, when he's in the mix and when he's playing some great golf, is one of the most fun guys to watch. Like, he's just unflappable and just chomps on that gum, does his thing. And it's like, how does Harris not get in the mix more often? Because when he's there and wins, it's fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah. Unflappable. Like, chill guy. Like, change
Yeah,
the emoji to
massively
Harris
chill guy.
English. Like, so chill. Like, doesn't ever get flustered by the moment. Congrats to Harris English. The week that was at Torrey. We'll be back there in a few weeks for the Genesis, of course. But an epic night. Let's talk about the epic night in the SoFi Center last night. We finally, Matt, got a good match. Tiger and Rory simply delivered everything we asked for. The energy in the arena was by far and away the best that I have seen it through 4 matches. I thought the tech was very improved. I thought that the attitudes from warm-ups, you could tell that especially Jupiter, but both teams were really into this and they were there to win. Celebs were everywhere. We got a real competition. Interested in your perspective on how did it play out on TV? Did you notice any improvements in the watchability from the ESPN coverage?
Yeah, I was at home eating dinner, and like I was standing up for shots. I'm like, all right, TK's got to make this. If X holds out from the bunker, they're gonna win this hole. It was just a really cool environment and really cool vibe to watch and see a good match. And I just want to say, like, everyone's on Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. TGL won tonight." Yeah, because it's a good match. Like, not every sporting event has to be a wire-to-wire match. Like, appreciate the whatever happened week 1, week 2. It's going to happen. Like, there's going to be great matches. There's going to be blowouts. I think it's all great television and it's Monday golf. Why are we complaining? Why are we complaining? Like, it was awesome. I'm happy it came down to the wire. And because remember how we talked, it got a little bit bland midway through the match last week. How was the vibe like in the arena, like on hole 10, 11, 12?
100% different. As soon as, like, this is going to sound so cheesy to a lot of people out there, but literally everyone kind of started to get behind Jupiter when they realized it was like a David versus Goliath opportunity and they had a chance. So when it got to that 10th hole and it was Tiger v. Rory on the spear, like, when have we ever seen Tiger v. Rory go head to head in anything? And they're on some like insane video game type golf hole. It was so much fun. The adrenaline that I think all the players felt was real. The attitude towards winning, like, Tiger had so much fun, dude. And you can like see it and you can feel it and it rubs off on you in that arena. Like, he has the ability in warm-ups or during the match to like interact with Charlie, with his son. There was the viral clip, like him telling mom in the booth, like, I'm trying not to suck today. It's so good. You could not wipe a smile off his face post round during the press conference as well. It genuinely felt like he won something big and he was there for competition and he succeeded. I guess the moment though was like, years from now, they're going to ask you, where were you when Tiger Woods got a shot clock violation in golf?
Where were
I can't
you?
believe it happened to him. And in the very first singles hole versus Rory, like, what were your thoughts on him getting dinged with the shot clock?
I remember speaking to you about how they need to put the shot clock to 25 because no one's going to come close to getting a shot clock violation. Last night, there were a few closer calls, but still, I think 40 seconds is too much. And I was like, how does this even happen? I did say that it would only be on the greens, and it was Tiger over a putt, correct?
It was Tiger over a putt, and it was his response because someone asked him about it was hilarious in that he didn't really have an explanation for it. His explanation was basically over a big putt, which he referred to it as a big putt, that before he hits the putt, he has to work on slowing his heart rate down. And the moment was so big, and the heart rate in the arena beating boom, 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 boom was moving faster than his heart, and he just couldn't settle on like a good spot to be comfortable enough to hit that putt, which is insane. But in cheesy, but I think it speaks to like how bad he wanted to win and how bad that in his new league, in his hometown, where he's savvy enough to create a home field advantage every single week, he didn't want to go 0-2, and it meant a lot to him.
Yeah, I mean, as a lifelong Jupiter Lynx fan, been a fan of them since I was like before I can walk. It was great seeing them get that W last night. Truly.
Any concern for you in terms of guys? I was thinking about this last night. Guys who competed in an emotional, like adrenaline charged match now flying across the country to Pebble on a short week where their tournament week routine has to be somewhat impacted to a degree, right? They didn't have their normal Monday. They probably didn't have their normal Tuesday today. Is there any concern on those guys, like real concern for this week with them?
Yeah, I'm happy you asked that because as a golf content creator, as a golf bettor, one thing that I live and die on is stupid takes that make no sense. And I'm taking a hard out to golfers that played TGL until they can prove to me that they can win in a given week. And it's not a real take. It doesn't really make sense, but it's just something for my mind to cross off guys because in a weekly golf betting rationale, we're trying to cross guys off. So it's just another reason for me to not bet those golfers. Yeah, I love Tom Kim going into the week. He played TGL. I'm not going to bet him this week. Hopefully he doesn't win for my bank account sake. But yeah, that's my take on that. I just don't think they're going to go across the country, miss a day of practice, and win. But they're going to be fine. They deal with this week in, week out. It's just for my squirrel brain to deal with that from a betting point of view.
Speaking of takes on guys this week, Scott Scheffler is back in the field.
Heard of him? I've heard of him.
My expectations are that he's not going to win. I put out probably a cringeworthy video today that I may have to eventually delete so I can save some face for the brand. But your expectations, Matt, for this week, are you expecting rust? Are you expecting lingering effects from hand surgery? Or do you think this guy picks right up where he left off?
I'm actually expecting to see a little bit of what we saw last year at this time. I think the ball striking will be fine. He's a robot. But remember, like last year, he just couldn't make any putts. I don't think it's going to be all that bad, like missing three 3-footers around. But when you think of Scottie's forte of putting, it was never West Coast POA. That was never where he did his best work of putting. So I think between not playing and him being on that surface is going to slow him down from a putting point of view. And this is not, you're going to have to hold some putts this week. So I think we're all right in terms of avoiding that Scottie Scheffler 4-1 outright. But you never want to say there's no chance unless it's Pinehurst. But I'm out on Scottie this week for sure.
Me too. Yeah, I think it, like I mentioned in the video I posted on Twitter, I actually love the fact that he's playing this week. I think that it gave us additional value on those other players that I do have intent on betting and have placed a few of those. Pebble Beach and Spyglass this week for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It's sort of a blend. You play the first two courses the first 2 days with the amateurs, and they kick those guys off the course and they play Pebble on the weekend. 80 players in the field, par 72 at Pebble Beach, still under 7,000 yards. Of course, you have the smallest greens on the PGA Tour featuring the Poa Nua grass, rye, Poa Nua fairways and rough, 116 bunkers on the course, which is quite a bit. And you have one gigantic water hazard that we call the Pacific Ocean that runs along about 8 to 10 holes. Pebble once again set to host the U.S. Open in 2027. What are your overarching thoughts on the most important skill sets to have to target at Pebble Beach? You got any boots on ground insights for us?
This is truly like one of the most, I think, spike approach courses on tour. Guys are going to have a ton of forced layup spots off the tee. Whether you're a bomber, whether you're a short hitter, you're going to be hitting from similar spots. So just get hot with the iron. Just think back to the winners of the last a few years. Those are some of the best middle iron players of the season of the year. So I just really think you can gain X amount of strokes on approach and really take a leap. And obviously you got to hole a few putts. So it's just really iron play and approach. I'm not looking at too much driving accuracy this week because guys should be able, these are some of the best guys in the world. They should be able to club down and hit these fairways. So I'm really just dialing in on approach play.
Yeah, golf kind of takes center stage. I'm excited to see it. We finally get Rory teeing it up. We finally get Scottie teeing it up. I really hope that we get ourselves a good tournament this week. I'm going to bring up now my stat model and see if you have any takes, good or bad, on it. But this is what I ran over at the Rabbit Hole. By the way, if you have not signed up over at BetSperts for the Rabbit Hole, promo code is in the link in the description. Tour picks, all caps, will get you 25% off your annual. It is well worth it. These are the types of things that you can do. And not only can you view my stat model here, the Pebble Beach prognosis, you can get all the expert rankings. You can get my boy Noonan's Core 3. You can get Ron Close's. You can get Andy Lack's. You can get Steve Shermer's. You can get Matt Vincenzi's. All kind of in let alone you have the ability to create your own, the most diverse collection of stats that I think I've found. But here's just a couple of examples. This is strokes gained total over the last year. Of course, you got Scottie #1. Here's what I did on short courses. So courses under 7,200 yards, strokes gained total. Here's what I looked at the last 3 years in California. So you can isolate all those courses that take place in California. And then I looked at tee to green on sort of just simply Pebble last 5 years. You have all these different stat categories. You can add them all with different percentage weights in your model. I put around the green. I put approach, West Coast specific, and strokes gain approach overall. I did the key proximity ranges of basically 50 to 150 yards, and then 200 plus, where the majority of approach shots come from this week. Par 5 birdie or better rates. Here's how the top 10 in my model shook out this week. Of course, no surprise, Scottie Scheffler #1, Colin Morikawa #2, Hideki #3, Thomas 4, Cantlay 5, Henley 6, McNeely 7, Fleetwood 8, Ludwig at 9, and Adam Scott at 10. And then, of course, you have a champion, previous champion of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am in Tom Hoagie there at #11. Your thoughts on my top 10? Is there anyone you feel like I'm missing there?
Yeah, I think I have like 5 or 6 of the same top 10 in my model that I make. I post it on Twitter every single week. I'm not really too much of a live and die by the model guy, but it's good that we're looking at some of the same stats, because it's not rocket science what you need to do to succeed at Pebble Beach. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, you guys get extremely detailed as well over at Vincerix Golf. You showed me some of that stuff. I know that that's available if you want to sub. The amount of boots on ground content that you have up there is almost overwhelming to a degree. It's so much stuff. And you have like the strokes gained dog numbers. Harris English has got to be on the strokes gained dog. He's got to be moving up that board.
He was.
But that stuff matters, particularly when betting outright numbers. Like you see some of these guys here, it's kind of an unquantifiable figure. But if you're able to kind of create a power rankings in a system like that, it's very helpful. I also have my power rankings article out now for free over on rotoballer.com. But without wasting any more time, I know you people are here for the bets. Let's make some picks. Let's bet the board. All right, AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am favorite. Like I mentioned, Scottie Scheffler flirting right between 4 and 5 to 1 at most books. Then you have Rory at 12 to 1. Morikawa at 14 to 1. Justin Thomas 14 to 1. Ludwig at 20. Cantlay at 20. Hideki at 22. Sungjae Im at 25. Those are your players under 30 to 1 this week, Matt. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to pull the trigger on any of these guys. If I had to choose one, I think it would be Colin. I think it would be Colin Morikawa, just because I think he's itching for a win. I think he is very comfortable in California. I think he's in some nice form. I mean, you just shoot 32 under in your last tournament, you should be feeling all right. I just feel like he's too good of a golfer to not have X amount of wins over the last year and a half. So I think he's as close as anyone, not named maybe Scottie Scheffler, and I think it's a fair number in this field. I think he has the highest floor out of this top range. I think he's going to play well, get in the mix. So I think Colin be my guy up here.
Okay, here's what I got. I'm full on fade the top 3. I took a bang 1-2 punch at 25 to 1. Good number that I got this morning over on betol.ag as an abbreviation, but 25 to 1 on both of these guys. First, I'll start with Ludwig. I'm okay going right back. Guy was dialed in here last year, second, dialed in at the Century T5, -7 at Torrey before he started throwing up and got really sick. We talk so much, Matt, about Oberg and his off the tee prowess. But we forget he's actually a super terrific wedge player, and he ranks 4th in the field in strokes gain approach inside of 100 yards. He's got great touch. Brutal 3 putts last week. I think that could be, I think that it could have a lot to do with just not feeling well and not being in a good headspace and starting to go down the leaderboard, and things kind of got out of hand and you start to lose a little bit of concentration, but lost 6 strokes putting at Torrey. And the driving accuracy, of course, got a little wayward over the weekend. I'm not going to ding him too hard for that. When you look at his Cali stretch last year, he actually gained strokes putting in every tournament in California, including plus 2.7 at Pebble. I'll ride with the discount. The other one is same number as Hideki. It's simple. I just think that he's
Smart.
consistently undervalued and mispriced in betting markets. And I think that that's a good 1-2 punch that eats up a good bit of win equity. Number one player in strokes gain approach in the field that I have over the last 36 rounds. It's also number one inside of 100 yards over the last 12 months. No surprise, strokes gain total. Scottie Scheffler is number one. Number two is actually Hideki Matsuyama. He's unreal around the greens. He's finally got himself a putter that he's comfortable with and putting pretty well with it. And I mentioned this a few weeks ago. He just tends to do a lot of his damage early in the season. When you look at statistically, historically, over the course of his career, Hawaii, California, when they used to play those events overseas as well, he did really well at those. His wins kind of come earlier in the year, as evidenced by the one at Riv last year, also in California. Hideki, Ludwig, 1-2 punch right up there at 25-1. Those are my first two off the top.
Yeah, I like what you said about Ludwig and not like you said, everyone talks about his driver, but his two wins are at RSM, Sea Island, and Crans Montana on the DP World Tour. Those are some of the most wedge heavy courses in the entire world. So
short courses,
you're going to have them here too. So I like your Ludwig call for sure.
Okay, going down the board a little bit, you start to get in the 30-1 range. You got Tommy Fleetwood, Jason Day at 35-1, Sam Burns at 40, Keegan Bradley at 50, Corey Connors, Taylor Pendrith, Will Zalatoris, Mav McNeely, Max Grazerman, Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, Wyndham Clark, and Tom Kim. This is kind of that sort of mid-range of the odds board this week. Got any guys in here since you avoided the top?
Some numbers in there that catch my eye. I like the Keegan number and I like the Russ number because Keegan was what last week, like 20-1, 25-1. I know it's a much stronger field here, but that's a big boy golf course at Torrey Pines. Keegan doesn't have the best, doesn't play here a lot, but when he has played here, it's been solid results. And he's got some of the best ball striking form, like maybe ever in his career going on right now. Right. Keegan is a motivated man right now. He really wants to play good golf for obvious reasons. So, Keegan, I don't think I'm going to bet him from an outright perspective, but that number really caught my eye. Russell Henley, 60-1. If this event was being held at Sedgefield, he would be at most 25-1. Same exact field, similar style golf course, but he just doesn't have the California course history, except for when he won the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. How could we forget that? When he outdueled John Rahm and Mackenzie Hughes. So I think that number is really good on Russell Henley for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my two guys. You talked about one of them already. I'll get to him in a second, but I did take Jason Day. First bet of the week, 35-1, purely dominant at this event. 6th, 24th, 7th, and 4th in the last 5 years. Guy's just playing good golf right now. He's striking his irons really well. 4 in a row gaining strokes on approach. That said, Jason Day is losing and bleeding strokes putting like a lot. But he's a great putter.
Too good.
And
that's what happens when he hits it too good.
This could be a nice spot for this could be a nice spot for him to get things clicking with the flat stick, though, Matt. He's gained strokes putting every single time over the last 5 years at Pebble Beach. Really positive metrics as well, which I was kind of surprised by on short courses. Under 7,200 yards, I have him 4th in my model. He's trending in more ways than one beyond just the fashion. I think it's a fair price for Jason Day at Pebble Beach. And then you mentioned Keegan Bradley. I'm going to keep betting Keegan Bradley. Dude is so motivated right now and locked in and is like desperate to earn his way onto this Ryder Cup team and like not leave it up to choice. And I think he may do it. 3 consecutive top 15s to start his year. Finished 11th at this event last year. Also a T15 back in 2011. Historically, gains the most on short courses. I wanted to kind of show this as well. This is Keegan. This is BetSperts as well. This is Keegan Bradley's sort of player profile page. And if you look like here, average strokes gained by event season, you can see that he's doing a lot of his damage early in the season. You can see that he's best average strokes gained by course length. Like he's best on short courses. He's best during this early season. But like, look at his average strokes gained. Like, everything is up. Tee to green at 1.19 is the best it's been over the last 200 rounds. Off the tee is the best it's been over the last 200 rounds. Approach over the last 12 and 24, the best it's been over the last 200 rounds. Ball striking, the best it's been over the last 200 rounds. Around the green, the best it's been over the last 200 rounds. Even putting across the board, the guy is just playing really good golf.
That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's like 3 wins in the last 2 years in like big time events. Zozo, Travelers, BMW, like in just this
Yeah.
past fall. And like you want to look at guys right now, and we talked about it, like that you feel like they have the dog in them that can actually win an event and won't back down in
Right.
contention. Like I think Keegan's got that.
That's a great number. Like, who would you want tied on the back nine? Keegan Bradley versus Sung JM. Half the number is Sung JM. I'd want Keegan Bradley no matter in every setting of that every time, and it's a
Feel
great
good
number.
about
I'm
it
down.
right now. He's got a lot of commitments right now between TGL, between Ryder Cup captain, between playing a lot of PGA Tour events, between being a dad, and I know how those commitments work to 2 young kids who were there at TGL last night. But I just think that he's in a great place mentally. He's in a good spot in his career. I think there was probably a moment back in like 2018, 2019 where he was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to win again. Like, is my career now
Yeah, I thought
becoming
the
a
same
guy
thing.
who's like reaching for top 40s and trying to make cuts? Now he's doing it. And now he's got that belief in himself. And I think the confidence going on and where he's at in his career could really propel him to a big year. And I think that he's looking forward to that and embracing it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on Keegan. I think he'll be in for a good week.
All right, how about a long shot? You got 1 or 2 for me down the board. I'm not going to read everyone
Yeah.
off. There's only 80 players in the field, but rip me a couple bombs if you got any.
Yeah, I looked at this number on Monday morning and I was like, let me look at it again. Minwoo Lee, I got 110 to 1 on Minwoo Lee, and I am not a Minwoo Lee truther or avid bettor, but I thought to myself, 2 of Minwoo Lee's best results on the PGA Tour were at PGA National and CPC Sawgrass. They're not direct comps, but they're similar styles of golf, could get tougher, shorter courses, and Minwoo Lee is coming off. He's gained on approach in 3 out of his last 4 measured starts. Which, if you know anything about Minwoo Lee, he generally does not gain strokes on approach. So we're getting Minwoo at a massive number, who's in somewhat good approach form, on a course that he might feel comfortable on. I'll throw the bullet. I will, and because this guy, if he was 55 to 1, no one would bat an eye. So I'll take the 110.
Any concern with like we haven't seen him this year?
For sure. Like I don't think I would bet him at like 45 to 1 or 50 to 1, but I saw the 110. I was like, this guy's he's never this long in these fields. So I'm down for Midwell.
Okay, I'll let one go today. I'll have the full card out tomorrow, as always, on my Twitter at Tour Picks. We'll be out sometime mid-afternoon, but big number. Got 175 to 1 today on the same book that I mentioned earlier. Last 6 months for this player, he's made 8 out of 9 cuts. 4 of those are top 10s. Billy Horschel, 175 to 1. I mean, kind of like here's what I like. Like I don't want to bring stats from TGL.
Strokes gained dog. Strokes gained
dog. Tell he does have some dog in it, but you could also tell like this is a man who is just like super comfortable with who he is as a person and like in his own skin right now, maybe more than ever before. He like went from like bad guy to like chirping people in the stands to like getting a little feisty on Twitter, clapping back at trolls. So like now he's like the lovable like old guy that's like the corny dad that like Justin Thomas and Cantlay can like kind of make fun out of. But he's playing really well, dude. Second at the Open, won the BMW PGA in a playoff against Rory not too long ago. Plenty of dog in him, like you mentioned. Like he's as a nod to his Florida Gators. This is a guy who won't back down when he's in contention. In all seriousness, like just looking at that number at 175 to 1, I know there's 150s out there. I look at some of those guys, like you mentioned with Keegan earlier, and guys half his price. Here's a list of some guys that are half the price of Billy Horschel this week: Thomas Dietrich, Harry Hall, Bo Hostler, JJ Spawn, my boy Denny McCarthy, Ben Griffin.
Makes no sense.
Like, are those guys more likely to win than Billy Horschel?
No, Billy Horschel wins at a very high rate.
Toss up, you just take the additional 2x the price on someone like Horschel, 175 to 1. When you're just looking at names at the sort of the bottom, he just tends to stick out as like a guy who's won recently, a guy who's played really well in a major recently as runner-up, and is in pretty good form. He's made 8 out of 9 cuts, so I'll take the discount.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, straight dog to odds ratio. You take Billy Horschel in that setting for sure.
Anybody else for you, like real steep in terms of bets that you have on your card?
No one really else in terms of bets. I do think Lee Hodges could be worth a look in maybe a positional market because he's got, I think, 5 top 15 finishes or 16 finishes in his last 7 starts. I generally like him on bigger golf courses, but just a man at a big number playing some really good and consistent golf. He's won before. I don't think he's going to win this week, and I probably won't even consider betting the outright number, but positionals, I like Lee Hodges.
Anything from a weather perspective that you see this week as either a pro or a con from you want guys on a certain course on a certain day, or does it look pretty calm?
I think the field is too small for there to be a real weather advantage. But also I'm seeing and hearing that it's looking pretty mint out there and it's some of the best pebble conditions we see, which is rare because they love to play this golf course at like the worst time of the year over there. So we're getting lucky apparently this week. So hopefully it stays dry and we get some nice clean conditions to watch the views.
Awesome stuff, man. Listen, you're on an awesome trajectory. I love I understand and I can appreciate the amount of work that goes in, the amount of miles that you're putting in going to events in Hawaii just to get additional content for the people that, are subscribing to Vincerix and are just, you're working for the people, man. You're out there. You and Keith, I said in the media center last week, are the 2 hardest working guys that I see out there each and every week. So continue the grind, dude. What do you get from going to an event and seeing guys on person? Are there a lot of stuff that you're able to contribute to those people, who do subscribe there that you think is unique in a different way?
Yeah, I think the more times you're there, the more you pick up on mannerisms and actions from guys. Because we saw Colin Morikawa ahead of the Players Championship last year, looking like a lost man, looking like he didn't know how to swing, and then opposed to late in the season, he looked dialed in these events, and then he started mixing in the majors, finishing top 5. And we saw Victor Hovland going through all the struggles with his coach, reporting back on all those. So just being there, you get to see the guys' mannerisms, you get to see the guys what they're doing, just like subtle things. And it's like I don't think. So I got to shout out Adam, my boss at Vincerix. He taught me the ropes because the first time I ever went out there, I didn't know what I was looking for, and not everyone could just go out there and look for guys golfing. It took us a while, a lot of reps, and we got the formula down now. So come visit us at Vincerix. You're not gonna regret it. You're gonna get a lot of great information to help your handicapping. Just extra stuff for sure.
Dude, you pick up so much of that stuff and just from watching guys practice or warm up more so than play, I think. And even like I can remember when I was standing with Keith and picking stuff out from watching at the Players last year and like watching Wyndham Clark, and we're like, oh my God, this guy is like bombing it and is dialed right now. And obviously he had a good week that week. And even like last night, like I didn't bet Jupiter. I didn't have the balls to bet Jupiter, but in being there, you know how they let you on the field before warmups? Like the 3 Jupiter guys were the first 3 guys out, and they weren't hitting into the screen. They weren't mingling with the people in the Jupiter booth. They were literally going and like chipping and putting on the green and like focus. I swear to you, Matt, Tom Kim was in a straight full sweat before they went back into the locker room.
That's how you tweet that. Yeah.
The dude was into it. Meanwhile, the Boston team is kind of like laughing and like hitting a few shots into the screen and mingling with Noah Khan and Big Poppy and Niall Horan. And like they've got all the celebrities packed in there and they're sort of, shaking hands and taking selfies. And it was just like, you could kind of tell that one team just flat out wanted it more. And it should have been right there. I should have been like, this is like time to kind of fire on our Jupe boys.
Yeah, and from being out there, you can see who's confident and who's not. And from anyone knows from swinging a golf club.
Oh, we saw Cam Young too.
Yeah. Oh, we saw Cam Young. You can imagine how that went, but you can imagine, how important just being confident over a golf ball is. So when you're out there, seeing who's confident, seeing who's weary is massive stuff. So a lot of stuff that you'll get over at Vincerix.
We saw Cam Young hit like
this is funny.
5 straight, like duck hooks left with driver, and then he literally hits the very first shot of the night driver. I think they were on the spear, or no, they were on like the other one that's like the spear. It's like the temple, And
Yeah.
you had to hit an extremely narrow fairway. And of course, he duck hooks it left. But we were like talking before he hits it. We're like, this is going left. We know it's going left. And of course, but just things like that, I think from being willing to put in that work and be there all week and put in the boots on the ground is something I think everyone can appreciate. So props to you, brother.
Much appreciated. Truly much appreciated.
All right, man. That's all I got for tonight. Good luck this week. Hit some bets. All the best to you. Let everyone know where they can find the rest of your content that you got going on for Pebble.
Yeah, it's at my Twitter at Matt_Gannon_ and at Vincerix_golf. Ton of content there. Any questions, you know where to find me. Reach out with whenever, anytime.
Thanks, dude. Talk soon. See you next week. All right, gang. That's all I got for tonight. Hope that you enjoyed the show. Make sure to comment on the YouTube channel or subscribe or, do the things to support the show that I need from you guys. We're a part of this journey together, like I mentioned earlier in the show, and I couldn't have done it absolutely without the help of you guys each and every week. My name is Joe Idoni. This has been another episode of the Preferred Lines podcast. I wish you all the best of luck at Pebble Beach this week. I'm out of here. Peace.